Waziri, there is something you just pointed out. I think you pointed to us, one of your officers who will be assisting us in regard to the visa applications. Waziri, I would want you to clarify on an issue which I think is terribly wrong, especially when you come to the issuance of visas to Canada. We have situations, and I think I've heard of so many of those kind of cases, whereby we have people, our kids applying for visas. We have kids who are finishing school. You get a position, say in a university in Canada, and once you are given the point of reporting to those universities, we have situations whereby kids are taking even more than 1 year before you can get that visa. And I think this is a case which has been going on for some time. So I really want you to clarify exactly what is happening. Thank you.
We have the last one.
Asante sana waziri. Mimi ni Mheshimiwa Zamzam Chimba Muhammad, Women Representative Mombasa County. Swali langu linakuja hivi Mheshimiwa. Tumeona hata mimi nimefanya kazi Saudia miaka 6, kazi ya nyumbani. Yes, I'm here, kazi ya nyumbani. Na ningependa kwanza utueleze, wakati ule tulikuwa na waziri Ukuru Yatani, tuliweza kuitwa kwenye meza ya mzunguko tukatoa recommendations zetu ili tuwe na bilateral agreement ambayo itatuelezea mambo ya mshahara na kila kitu. Lakini hatukuona mwisho wake. Leo hii Indonesia ambao wengi hawajasoma wakiingia kufanya kazi wanalipwa pengine riali 2,000 na Mkenya analipwa 900 ama 1,000. Kwa nini iwe ni tuna tofauti ya mshahara wakati kazi ni sawa? Na ndio maana unaona wasichana wetu wanakimbia nyumbani wakienda kule nje kule ambako wanalipwa pesa nzuri. Umechukua hatua gani kuhakikisha kuwa Wakenya wanaongezwa mshahara? La pili, tuko na training centers ziko hapa Kenya. Lakini yale mafunzo yanayotolewa pale yatoshelezi yule anayekwenda kufanya kule kazi. Ningekuomba kama ungeweza kuweka sheria kila ofisi ambayo watu wanatolewa kusafiri nje kuwa na mtu mmoja ambaye anazungumza Kiarabu. Manake kule hata ukafanya nini, hata kama anajua English kidogo ataongea tu kwa Kiarabu. Kwa hiyo ningeomba mtu mmoja ofisini wa kuzungumza Kiarabu. Na jambo lingine pale pia training center wao wanafunzwa lugha na wanafunzwa hasa practically zile na machine zile ambazo ziko kule. Manake ukienda kule utapata culture shock, utapata religion shock na utapata na mpaka ile climate. Kwa hiyo inawatatiza sana waweze kuelezewa. Halafu la mwisho ningeomba uongee na serikali ya Saudi Arabia, wale wanaonyanyasa watoto wetu wachukuliwe hatua, na wale ambao wamekimbia kwenda kufanya kazi nje bila kibali wote wasiajiriwa waweze kuregeshwa nyumbani, ndio tupate clear, tujue huyu yuko pale na tuweza kumpata vizuri. Asante sana na karibu Mombasa.
Shukran.
Okay, honorable CS.
Thank you. Excellency Deputy President, Mheshimiwa Speaker. Mheshimiwa Njala, I think what we are doing is that we are doing country-to-country negotiation. What is happening is that each country allocates slots. When we went to South Korea, we found that they are allocating 100,000 jobs to foreigners. And Kenya is uko number 17. So tukifikiwa, tunapata kazi pengine 100 peke yake ama 200. So we are negotiating so that our ranking can come higher, but that is done country to country. That is why we have you here as holding these bilateral meetings, all these visitations to negotiate for Kenyans' ranking to come up higher. So that's what we're doing, country to country. It is not wide. The other thing is about, you asked about being take care procedures, not confined. And I'll combine it with this question of visas that was asked by Mheshimiwa Ramo about the issues of visas. After COVID, or during COVID, they stopped issuance of visas from the stations. For example, ulikuwa na apply visa Canada, embassy wanakuishu hapo, American wanakuishu, Australian wanakuishu. The services were taken back home. So the people issuing your visa in Nairobi are not in Nairobi. The decision is made by a person who has never come to Kenya, who is in Canberra, for example, with thousands of visa applications from all over the world. We have talked to Canada. I met the ambassador from Canada. He also met His Excellency the President, and they are trying to rectify. But the hands of the ambassadors here are a bit tied because the work is being done out of the country. So that is why now we are negotiating, and I'm going to go to Canada to sit down with the Canadian government so that they can return those services to Kenya, so that Kenyans can get their visas chap when they're here. And then it doesn't have to go back. But if we don't do anything about it, it just continues being status quo. And then, you know, Kenya is the one that, the centers in Kenya give visas for the region. So if you want a visa to go to the US, you're from Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, this region, you apply for it in Nairobi. The same with the Canadians, Australians. So the influx is very high and it's all sent there. Na nikimalizia basi, Mheshimiwa, umeongea kuhusu hali ya kazi na kuna zile bilateral labor agreements. Na niliongea nao tukakaa chini. Mheshimiwa Rais atakuwa anatembelea nchi hizo, tutakuwa na zile zinaitwa bilateral meetings ambazo tutaweza kunegotiate sasa bilateral labor agreement, watu wetu wapewe pesa nzuri. Utakuta ya kwamba mtu kutoka nchi nyingine, sitaki kutaja nchi hapa, mtu kutoka nchi nyingine anafanya kazi kwa hoteli kama waiter, analipwa pengine shilingi 100,000, na Mkenya ambaye anafanya kazi hiyo hata more qualified analipwa shilingi 20,000. Ni kwa sababu nchi hiyo ili negotiate mshahara wa wafanyikazi wao. Kwa hivyo sio tu kupata kazi, ila pia ni kunegotiate pia watu wetu wapate mshahara wa hali ya juu. Tumeona kule Saudi Arabia hivyo, tumeona kule Dubai, UAE vile, tumeona katika nchi za ngambo ya kwamba Mkenya anapata mshahara wa chini. Unakuta daktari Mkenya akienda kule ama pilot analipwa nusu ya mzungu ambaye ana hizo qualification kwa sababu ametoka Europa, nchi ambayo imenegotiate hivyo. Kwa hivyo hiyo ndio negotiation tutaka kufanya mwaka huu na huu mwingine miaka miwili hivi, tukistabilize ndio Wakenya waweze kupata kia. Umeongea vizuri kuhusu hali ya training centers, tumechukua notes. Sifikiri kuna jambo lingine la kuongeza. Sawa kaka. Nilikuwa nimekaa chini over lunch time na chair wa diaspora na tukakubaliana ya kwamba tukipata idhini na ruhusa kutoka kwa speaker, ni kwamba wakati mimi nasafiri kwenda nchi hizi kuongea kuhusu mambo ya diaspora nyingi, hata turuhusu pia tuandamane na viongozi kadhaa wa kutoka bunge, haswa kwa hivi committee ambazo ni relevant to the issues that we are discussing. Tuwa vizuri kwa sababu utakuwa hapo ukija kubadilisha sheria, ukija kufanya kazi, ni kitu ambacho uko nacho hands-on. Na ni jambo ambalo tumeanza tayari, tumeshaongea na Mheshimiwa Speaker about how to do those modalities based on ability for us to be able to keep the costs down. Nimeshukuru sana na Mola awabariki.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alfred Mutua, for that incisive presentation. We appreciate, and I'm sure members will want to be meeting you at other times when we have more time so they can do it. And now it is my duty and honor to be able to invite the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Moses Wetangula, aka Papa Waroma.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, our Minister for Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, Your Excellency, the Governor from Mombasa, who is your former colleague, the leadership of the House, including my able Deputy Speaker. Honorable members, I want first to apologize to the members who are panel discussants for a few select new members, because that program is being overtaken by time and events. I specifically want to extend our regret to Honorable Maina Jane Njeri, the Honorable Muge Cynthia Jepkosgei, the Honorable Kode Felix Odiwar, the Honorable Ngui Robert Basil, and the Honorable Ado Aden Mohammed. I'm sure as new members you are ready to make a presentation but time is run out. I promise you I'll give you a kamkunji back in Nairobi so that we can be able to discuss the preparations that you had put in, and we hear your expectations as fresh men and women in Parliament. Honorable members, we are coming to the end of our session in Mombasa. We have been here for 2 weeks, and the 2 weeks have been very fruitful. The first week, Your Excellency, we spent time on committee work, committee inductions for members who are new in Parliament, and for members who are not new but who have moved to new committees, because every committee has its own work cut out. The beginning was a bit disturbed by the lack of disbursement of CDF, but we managed to overcome that. Secondly, we want to extend our gratitude to His Excellency the President, who came to officially open this seminar, and in so doing, he gave a lot of impetus to members so that they can be able to actively and positively interact between themselves with the executive and other arms of government. Today, we're coming to an end, and I'm sure Governor Abdulswamad Sharif is all smiles because we have tremendously improved the economy of Mombasa in the last 2 weeks in every respect. That improvement, I'm sure, has been shared by Kilifi as well, because Mutwapa is next door. And the members know what Mutwapa is capable of doing and offering. Honorable members, in a short while, the curtains will fall on this meeting. I want, on behalf of all of us, to thank you very sincerely. You can see this is the last day, and the hall is full. The tremendous level of enthusiasm, the ability to show the keenness in learning has been overwhelming. Every single member has been keen and ready to absorb something. Even the times I've not been in this hall, honorable members, I've been watching every single proceeding on the screen from my office down here, and I can assure you, without exception, all the contributions have been extremely positive and constructive. And we leave Mombasa, I think, better than we came, armed with better skills, better vigor, better enthusiasm, better knowledge, ready to meet the challenges that our country has placed on our shoulders. As members of Parliament, you are responsible for legislation. Whatever the executive does cannot have any force of law without coming through you. So you hold a very critical role in our democracy. You heard us tell you here that even delegated legislation by various agencies and arms of government have no force of law until and unless they're approved by yourselves. So you have that onerous responsibility to ensure that you keep abreast with the developments, and that's why among the many, many issues we have discussed here, Your Excellency, includes modern changes in society, cybersecurity, working in an environment that is now virtual in many respects, developing bills, bringing motions to the House, the responsibility of accountability, that members have an oversight role, the appropriations of public resources, You know, they have a dual mandate of assigning money to the executive, and they must also look at how the executive spends this money. All these are issues that we have discussed, and I think we live here raring to go. In the process, we have also, as members of parliament here, asserted very firmly that we want a seamless engagement and relationship with all the two other arms of government. We don't want to be bedeviled by tensions and rifts and shouting at each other instead of talking to each other. Where there are issues between the executive and the parliament, the houses of parliament, we will be able to sit and talk. And of course, where it is necessary, there will be some little pressure here and there to make things work. But we are not going to grind the wheel to a halt because we are not talking reasonably to each other. As two houses of parliament, we have also taken the extra step since bicameralism came to Kenya to ensure that we bridge the gap between the Senate and the National Assembly. And this is going to be demonstrated this afternoon or this evening when Speaker King and I are hosting a joint Senate National Assembly gala dinner for all of us so that we can be able to move together. Honorable members, the 21st century in which we are has many challenges. And these challenges include the ever-changing mode of governance, the ever-changing mode of communication, and as a House, we must constantly appraise our procedure rules, our standing orders, to ensure that we change with the changing times. Arising from the thematic areas covered in the program, honorable members, I'm sure the experiences, the knowledge, and the lessons learned will be shared beyond this conference. And I'm sure that when we get back to Parliament, everything will work in the manner that we desire to work. As we come to an end, honorable members, I also want to inform you that we look forward to commencement of the second session in a week's time, on the 14th of this month. As you may already be aware, the 31st January 2023, the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury submitted to the National Assembly supplementary estimates for the year 2022-23 for consideration. In accordance with our standing orders, I immediately notified all members of the National Assembly and guided the Budget and Appropriations Committee together with the departmental committees to get down to work. Of note, honorable members, the supplementary estimates are earmarked to unlock funds to key expenditure lines intended to impact on the lives of Kenyans. To this end, I therefore direct committees to commence consideration of the estimates and endeavor to report to the House upon the resumption of the second session on 14th of February 2023. This will free the House to now shift focus on consideration of the budget policy statement, the BPS, for the year 2023-2024, that is expected to be before the House by the 15th of February 2023. And it's a priority that we must give, because if we do not consider those priorities, then the operations of the country, because government is not about executive, it's about all the three arms, the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. So as we go back to Nairobi, honorable members, you will be able to find your in-trays full. I want to urge members who are chairmen and vice chairpersons of committees to get down to work and do what you must do so that we get things moving. Honorable members, I'm sure you have learned from this workshop and seminar and induction that the quality of legislation in any parliament does not and will never lie in the debate on the floor of the House. It lies in committee work and eventually lies in the committee of the whole, what we call the committee stage of consideration of bills. You can give very mercurial submissions to a bill, say everything you can, even promise that you will bring amendments to make it a better law. Then when we get to committee stage, you are nowhere. Those mercurial submissions come to naught. So to make a good law, you must be attendant to detail at the committees and at the committee stage of Parliament. That is when you can be able to change the content of a bill. Otherwise, you can speak very well and you go away. It will be fodder for the media and no more, because it will not find itself in its way into the law. That's why I want to urge committees, like I've said before, when the debates are going on, there are certain members who, for reasons beyond their control, may make good contributions but not be there at committee stage. I want to direct the clerk that when debates are going on, we have sufficient research staff following the proceedings, so that if a good point is made by Honorable KJ in the course of debate and is not there to prosecute it at committee stage, the clerks and the research team should be able to help the committee that will lead us at the committee stage to include those good comments and ideas that have come through debate, so that we give Kenyans good laws. The House has enough personnel to do that, and we will do that. And those who sponsor bills, whether you are chairman bringing bills engineered from the executive or private members' bills, these facilities will be available to all of you at all times, so that we give this country the law that we deserve, not the law like what you have seen here in the pensions law, that is clearly unconstitutional in content and ridiculous in structure. We need to have proper laws that lead our country to be an admirable country in the current dispensation. I want to stop here, honorable members, by once again thanking you for your industry, thanking you for your cooperation, thanking you for your production, and above all, for the camaraderie you have shown each other. Throughout the proceedings, Your Excellency, I have not seen a single member raise a voice on any issue beyond the expected decibels. We have had members speak with decorum, members speak with candor, and members have spoken, as KJ is saying, with conviction. And that is as it should be. As your speaker, I want to assure you that each and every one of you has and must have unlimited access to me. Each one of you, where you have issues, I'll be there with our support staff to work with you. And we have given you a tremendous team of members of the Speaker's panel, together with my deputy, Martha Wangari, Wakili Kaluma, Mafara Maalim, we have Rachel Nyamai, Mwalimu Omboko, and and David Ocheng of MDG. We have given you a very good team that will be able to support our activities and our agenda. Let's leave this country better than we found it when we finish our term. And on the issue, as I finish, of pension, we also truncated your discussions on pension because we are going to the closure. I want to direct the clerk, the time allowing. We also have a Kamkunji, so that members can appreciate and understand what is it you're contributing to. What is your expectation if you fall out and throw away your 5 years? What is your expectation if you serve 2 terms, 3 terms, 4 terms, or whatever number of terms, so that even as you budget for your future, you budget from a factual situation. So we will be able to engage, and like I did say briefly here, the team of Honorable Murugara, on your own causation, you must pick up the Parliamentary Pensions Act and look through it properly, bring it to the level where it appreciates that we have two houses of parliament, and above all, make it very clear that the widow and the widower are equal in law, and there is no way we should discriminate any one of them. Allow me, members, now to invite His Excellency, the Deputy President. We can be upstanding to come and give his speech to close our seminar. I once again want to thank you for keeping your presence in this wonderful facility up to the end of our seminar. I know some of you have flights back, but let's spare time this evening. I've invited His Excellency. I've invited my friend Alfred Mutua, the Minister. I've invited the Governor of Mombasa. Also encouraged him to behave like the late Karisa Maida, to come and join us in our gala dinner. Your Excellency, you have the floor. You may be seated.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Right Honorable Moses Wetangula, a.k.a. Papa Roma, the Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Gladys Bose-Sholay, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, Honorable Stephen Twigg, the House Leadership, honorable members of the National Assembly, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I'm happy. Let me first read what has been intended for me, then I say something on my own. You know, there are some people who sit somewhere to organize your thinking, which is okay. I'm happy to join you this afternoon for the closure of the post-election seminar for the 13th Parliament here in Mombasa. It is my hope you have had fruitful deliberations. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, allow me to congratulate all of you on your election or nomination to the August House. We know that winning an election is no mean feat. Now, welcome to the reality of service delivery to the electorate. Outside this venue, everyone looks upon you with great expectations. A better tomorrow, a dignified life. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, this seminar could not have come at a better time than now when the government is fully constituted. I salute you, honorable members, for vetting and approving our nominees. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, over the past few days, you have been taken through sessions on leadership, powers and privileges, budget making, representation, media engagement, protocol and etiquette, and national, regional, and global security. This will assist you immensely in the execution of your mandate. I believe that the seminar is a step in the right direction and will improve the functioning of our democracy. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you are in service as members of the 13th National Assembly when Kenya is taking off into a great future, when the world is recovering from COVID-19 pandemic, grappling with climate change, and many other challenges of our time. It is also a time of the great digital divide as we look into the future of work. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, this is a moment to stand and be counted as people who put Kenya on the resilience path. I say this based on the legislative and oversight role in the implementation of the various government policies and programs. The Kenya Kwanza administration is ready and eager to be oversighted by Parliament. We want to be held accountable. This is why we are proposing an amendment to the standing orders to allow cabinet secretaries to appear before Parliament and be questioned directly by the honorable members. To the young and the new members of the Assembly, you have now settled down to work and deliver not only to your local constituents, but to the nation. You have a lot to learn from your veteran peers. Do not be afraid to think in the 21st century and deliver exceptionally. Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable members, it is important to know that working together while respecting our various mandates as the three arms of government will not only make our work easier, but also facilitate smooth service delivery to the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, further, Honorable Speaker, the deliberations of this seminar have charted a clear roadmap on entrenchment of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, NGCDF, and the National Government Affirmative Action, GAF. Members have vast experience and knowledge of the invaluable contribution of these two funds in elevation of communities through sustainable initiatives in health, education, roads, infrastructure, and other sectors. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as I conclude, I'm impressed by the continued partnership and support accorded to the National Assembly by the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, CPA. The presence of representatives from various parliaments and the International Republican Institute is an indication of the delivery of knowledge, the diversity of knowledge exchange gained at this forum. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we have work to do. I urge for unity and collaboration irrespective of our political formations. We will be on the right side of history if we jointly deliver on the promise. With those very many remarks, I have changed, it was written few. I declare this seminar officially closed. Thank you and God bless you. Asante sana. First and foremost, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for inviting me to come here. This is a very emotional reunion for me. I was in the 12th Parliament with many good members here, and I really had a very good time for 5 years in the National Assembly. And I have not had time or the opportunity to interact with members of the National Assembly. I must tell you the truth, I really miss the National Assembly. And the ease of doing things, the comradeship, and just being there. Kind of life I'm leading is not a very good life. I must tell you. Everything is arranged for you. You can't go here, you can't go there, you can't meet, you can't, I know, it's not a very enjoyable life, but somebody has to do that job. I really miss the very good arguments we had there at tea. The Honorable Wanjala here, we had very good conversations, and he was very pertinent on the issues of polygamy. And, I would go for a debate with the Honorable Peter Kaloma, and we had good arguments. And during break time, off camera, he would agree with me on some instances. So I must say that you people have a good opportunity. Please do your job. And I want to say, truthfully, President Ruto and I want you people to oversight us and hold us to account. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. I can tell you, this power that people are given, if you are not careful, it can get into your head. We want to be oversighted. You people hold us to account. You are paid to do that, and do it fearlessly. And I want to assure you that the Ruto administration is totally different from the previous one. None of you will ever be arrested by anybody for holding us to account. None of you will ever be subjected to audit of the NGCDF because of your views. Nobody. You people do what you must do, and do it without looking back. Don't look over your shoulder. We have made a conscious decision that for democracy to thrive in this country, We must let independent institutions operate independently and support them. Our officers of the National Government Administration and the police have instructions from the President and myself that respect of elected leaders is not negotiable. And it does not just apply to elected members from the Kenya Kwanza formation. Any leader, irrespective of the party, must be given due respect. And we have told our county commissioners, and I repeat when I'm here, you look for a working formula with elected leaders, because those leaders are elected by the people, and you have just come there to work, and you leave them there when your tour of duty comes to an end. And if for whatever reason you cannot work together with an elected leader, it is you to give way, because that leader cannot be transferred. That is the truth, and I've told them. And you know me, ni mtu ya kuongea ukweli. I've told them. And please, our ministers and PSs have clear instructions. Go to their offices and push programs and projects for your people, irrespective of the party you come from. All these projects are funded by the taxpayers, who include your constituents who elected you. Go to those offices, and the ministers, the PSs have instructions. They must serve every Kenyan equally. That is why the President and I took 3 days in Luo Nyanza, where we were not voted for the way we would have wished. We were in Homa Bay, we were in Siaya, we were in Kisumu, because that is part of Kenya. And those are Kenyans who are there. And no Kenyans who elected us, who did not elect us, are people of Kenya. And there are no two presidents, there is one president to work for everybody. So we shall be coming to your constituencies, irrespective of where you voted. The elections are over, we are now working. When the time comes, another 4 years from now, we'll sort out each other in the normal way. And, but for now, we want to work. Good people, in your mandate is legislation. Make good laws. And when you make these laws, make them assuming and taking the position that they will be implemented by your worst enemy. That is the way to make laws. Some of us, we know that, because laws that we made were used against us. So please make good laws for posterity, and take it that they can be implemented by somebody who doesn't mean well for you. I'll be persuading you shortly. I've been given a very serious job to deal with cartels in the coffee, tea, and milk subsectors. We have started consultations with all stakeholders, and there is a parliamentary caucus on tea and coffee. I'll be meeting you shortly, amongst other stakeholders. We will be proposing to amend certain laws, to create certain regulations, to make sure that the middlemen and the exploiters of the Kenyan farmer are removed anywhere in this country. When those laws come to you, please be patriotic and be sympathetic and have empathy for the Kenyan farmer who has been exploited by middlemen and cartels for the last 5 centuries. It's not a small job. It's not easy. You know, for those of us who are farmers, dairy farmers, and beef, you know, a calf, removing it from the under of the cow when it has been sucking milk is not easy. You are likely to get a very hard kick. So we are seized of the battle ahead of us. But we are not intimidated. We must free the Kenyan farmer from exploitation. And this will be achieved by enacting the proper laws such that even when William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua are retired, those laws protect the Kenyan farmer forever. And I can tell you why it has not been possible to deal with cartels who have been exploiting farmers is because the leadership of the country for the years that have passed were part and parcel of that business. So there is no way they would have been on the side of the Kenyan farmer. For now, today, reforms in the coffee, tea, and milk subsector will succeed for one single reason, that William Ruto and GACHAGUA have no interest whatsoever in those three subsectors. Our only interest in the milk subsector is the amount of milk put in our cup of tea. That is our only interest. Our only interest in the coffee and tea subsector is the decision whether to take coffee or tea in the morning. That is as far as it goes. And therefore, I want to ask you today, when those laws, the amendments come, when those regulations come, exercise patriotism, please sympathize and empathize with the Kenyan farmer, and let us put some money to the pocket of the farmer so that they can realize the benefits of their sweat. Finally, I want to talk about representation. Please, other than CDF, and by the way, the President and I, you don't need to talk to us about CDF. That is preaching to bishops. We know the importance of that fund. And without blinking an eye, I can say, the only real work that you can see when you go to the ground is the work done by NGCDF. And that is because it is only about 6% that goes to recurrent. Everything else goes direct to work. The President and I and the rest of government will be with you to protect that fund, whatever it takes. Representation. Please, talk for your people without fear. Talk for your people without fear. You know, I used to sit with some people here when I was talking for my people. And they'll tell me, hey, you be careful. You know, the people you are talking against, how powerful they are. I talked for my people. Talk for the people you represent. And don't fear. And those people will stand with you. I'm Deputy President today because I stood for my people. Fearlessly. Fearlessly. With clarity of thought. Capture the thinking of the people you lead. And if there is a conflict between the interests of your people and anybody else, always stand with your people. And you'll never go wrong. You'll never go wrong. You know, here I want to talk about the committee you people refer derogatory as catering committee. That committee is the best. The members' facilities and services committee is the best. You want to ask me why? That committee of the 12th Parliament has produced the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. It has produced the Minister for Education. It has produced the Minister for Public Service. It has produced the Minister for Social Protection. It has produced the Leader of Majority. Please, if you want to be somebody in this country, please move to that committee. Muende kwa hiyo kamati. And is it a simple way? Is it a simple way of saying, pahali natupwa, sio pahali nafanya nini? Inaanguka. Na wale walikuwa mbele, walirudi. Na wale walikuwa nyuma. So wewe ukifikiria you are punishing somebody, kumpeleka kwa hiyo kamati, wewe hujui mambo ya Mungu. Yeah. Mungu akasema huyu Rigathi Gachagua huyu mnatupa ate kwa kamati ya kitchen. Na mnafungia pesa yake. Na mnashika yeye kila Friday. Huyu mnaona ni takataka huyu. Mnatukana yeye kumuita tanga na kuumiza yeye. Huyu mimi kama Mungu, kwa sababu Mungu ni Mungu, ndio nitainua, atakuwa naibu wa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. So, please, na wale wanapangia wengine, wewe si Mungu. Unapangia wengine waende jela, naye Mungu wako na mipango tofauti. Let us be nice people, let's love each other, and let us not be petty, kulima watu wengine na ufaidiki. Unalima mtu na hakuna faida utapata. Kwa hiyo, you know, there is a saying called a dog in the manger. Umbwa inazuia farasi kula nyasi na haikulangi. Wewe unazuia mwingine kupanda na wewe hiyo laini yake sio yako. So let us be good people and be nice people. So me, I just wanted to say I'm so happy to be here. And of course, mambo ya ng'ambo, vile minister wetu amesema, hata mimi naendaga ng'ambo na ninaenda na wabunge, lakini tumetengeneza new criteria. Speaker, tutakuwa tukienda na wabunge on the relevant field of that safari. But kama wewe hujawahi fungua mdomo yako bunge, nani atabeba wewe? Nobody. We'll make that decision on the basis of how active you are in that particular field, that you speak about it in parliament, kwa TV, kwa radio, you are passionate. Like now, I want to go to Ethiopia for benchmarking on how to get market for coffee. If you have been talking about coffee in parliament, outside, you are the right person to go with, irrespective of the party that you belong to. So, even we have also asked the president to do the same. But if you are never seen, wewe unatoka bunge huongei, unakunywa chai pale, unapiga story, unaenda nyumbani. Unaenda safari, unabadilishia nguo kwa airport, unaenda safari nyingine. Na hizi safari wacha tuongee tu, kwa sababu we are colleagues and we are brothers and sisters. Hizi safari imeumiza wabunge wengi. Ukienda safari, uache umepanga maneno yako nyumbani. Hata hii ya Mombasa, nimuibie siri. Hii mlikuwa mnapiga kelele hapa mambo ya CDF. Ni mzuri, raia wanapenda CDF, lakini ilipiga nyinyi kidogo. You are talking from the wrong venue. Raia wakiona nyinyi Mombasa wanafikiria mmekuja raha. So even as you are talking, akina mama anasema nasi wako Mombasa kule kwa maji. So as you go out, as you travel, wacha umepanga maneno nyumbani, inaendelea vizuri. Finally, I know there are areas that are really struck by drought. The situation is very bad. It's very bad. We have just gotten some 2 billion shillings, and we are going to buy food as early as Tuesday, Wednesday. We will assess the areas, and I'm going to give instructions that the distribution by the DCCs be done with the members of the National Assembly. Ndio pia mujipigie debe kidogo ya kwamba mnashughulikia wananchi. We have also told our Minister for East African Affairs, Regional Development and Asals, there are areas outside the traditional assault areas, but their conditions are the same. We have told her to do an appraisal quickly so that those areas can be gazetted to start benefiting from funds from the donor community, so that we can be able to make some progress. So mimi yangu ilikuwa ni hayo, na kusema you people, you are doing a good job, muendelee. Nitatafuta nafasi nipitie hapo bunge siku moja tukule lunch. And by the way, my office is open to all members of the National Assembly, irrespective of where you voted. Hiyo maneno ya kura sisi tumetoka hapo. We want to work for everybody. Na mkiwa na shida, nimesikia mlikuwa mnagombanisha commissioner of police here. Sasa the Inspector General of Police, you know, I still belong to the old school. Ile ya commissioner nilikuwa mtu ya era hiyo. What you do as members of parliament, mkiwa shida kabisa, if you have problems na ile officer ametumwa huko na hamwezi fanya kazi pamoja, munitafute quietly. Tupange hiyo maneno kinyumbani. I am there and I understand. I had DCCs who did not want to see me. Gari yangu ilikuwa ikipitia hapo wanafunga gate. So I know. if there are some sub-county commanders who cannot let your work go on. So if you have such very unique situation, please don't suffer in silence. Lakini tusianike, mtutafute polepole, tupange hiyo maneno polepole. We give you a team that you can work with. I and the president were members of parliament. We weren't ready to support your work because we were in the situation you were in and we understand. We don't need to be told by anybody. And we know what you go through and what you need every day. So I want to confirm that we are ready to work with you. Wanjala, you look for me and try to persuade me about polygamy. Endelea kuniongelesha. Lakini hiyo tabu mimi siwezi. Hata wewe ni dume wewe. Sisi moja anatusumbua watatu ni kibarua. So, Speaker, I want to say I'm very grateful and honored that you invited me here, and I'm really very grateful to have this opportunity to interact with our members of the National Assembly and to wish you well in your job. And you know the turnover this time was not bad. More than 50% of members came back. 50? 54. And let me tell you, wewe ukiwa na CDF 140 million, ukuja uvuguzwa na raia, there's something wrong with your head. You should be checked. With 140 million every year, alafu uvuguzwa na raia, kichwa yako nataka upelekwe upimwe na mtu upatiwe report. I'm telling you, that money, na siri ni hii, please, don't send your PA to launch your projects. Don't send your chairman. Hao mapia wanakujaga kutoa mjumbe. Wewe pigia kazi yako debe. Sisi tunafanya kazi kama kuku. Kuku ikitaga mayai kasaizi hii juu ya nyumba inapiga kelele for 4 hours. Kila mtu anajua kuna yai imefanya nini. Sasa wewe usikue kama ng'ombe. Ng'ombe ya grade na kamuliwa 40 liters imenyamaza. Hiyo maziwa yote inauzwa na wafanyikazi. Yeah? Sindio? Hiyo maziwa hakuna mtu anajua iko. So the neighbors na wafanyikazi wanajisaidia na hiyo maziwa. Lakini ile yai moja, hata kama ni neighbor huko na deni yake, anajua iko yai moja, anakuja kudai wewe. Please, because sisi tunataka tukue na nyinyi, mpigie kazi yenu debe. Hii barabara hii ya Kera, please, hiyo barabara you launch, weka mpaka kibao, hata picha yako. Wewe sasa. Sasa wewe. Mimi, unajua, let me tell you, wewe ukikosa kupigia barabara yako debe, MCA atakuja aseme ni yake. Governor atakuja aseme ni yake. Mimi kwa sababu ya kupigia barabara yangu debe. By the way, if I ran again as member of the National Assembly, I would have had 95,000 votes. Because barabara yangu nilikuwa hata ya governor wanasema ni yangu. Because I'm always around. Governor akijaribu kusema hii ni ya mheshimiwa Gachagua. Because I was always there. Mimi nilikuwa one. Saa ile contractors wanakuja kuinspect, gari yangu iko mbele na loudspeakers mbele ya contractors. Macontractor wanafanya nini? Wanafuata. Sema mheshimiwa ametumana, barabara zenu zote zinapimwa na amekuja kujua kama ile yenu iko na barabara ni hii zinatajwa. Hiyo ninamaliza once. Barabara ikijengwa, watu yangu iko hapo na reflector na jina yangu. Na ninaongea na contractor ndio wenye kulipa watu jioni. Watu yangu ndio wanalipa. Ikikwisha, mimi mwenyewe nakuja, natembea hiyo barabara, if it is 3 kilometers, natembea hiyo barabara na wamama na vijana mguu kutoka mwanzo mpaka mwisho. Ukijaribu kusema ati sasa kama iko barabara nilikuwa najenga, hii barabara ni za Uhuru. Wakauliza ati Uhuru. Ati si ni mheshimiwa tunaonanga hapa kila siku. So please, pigia kazi yako debe. Na please, never build a school before uende uongee na wazazi na watoto. Alafu ukimaliza urudi. Uende mara ngapi? 2. Wewe unajenga shule, unatumia 3 milioni, unakaa Nairobi. Nani atapigia hiyo barabara debe? Hiyo shule. Si ni chairman? Wewe enda to the school, call the parents and the children. Say, I want to do ABCD. Come and do it. Finish. Come and open. And I'm telling you, if you do that, utatolewa bunge na uzee. Lakini waenda safari, upatie chairman aende afungue. Upatie nani aende afungue. People forget you, they forget you. By the time uchaguzi unafika, nobody even remembers you. So mimi hiyo ni yangu tu. From my own little experience, I hope it can help you. Please. With those very many remarks, thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Deputy President, for that very good teachings that you have given us. And I think now, honorable members, we will allow His Excellency to leave with the Right Honorable Speaker and our other dignitaries, and then we shall now be able to rise. The dinner gala dinner will start at 7 p.m. So we'll see all of you there, but the bar is open from 6.